Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Catching the Facts here on the Catching the Facts official podcast network. I'm your host, Dan Sisk.
And I'm Schroeder.
And we have an interesting weekend of football games to talk about with you guys this week. A lot of upsets, right, Eric? There were a lot of crazy big losses in college football.
Yeah, some crazy game.
Yeah. So we're largely going to be talking about that. In terms of the NFL, we're only going to be talking about the Steelers and Bengals this week, largely because the rest of the games, I mean, the Lions Bucks weren't what that was kind of interesting to watch. I was flipping back and forth, Eric, between that and Mariners Blue Jays in the Game 7 of the ALCS last night. So I wasn't paying full attention to the Lions Bucks, but that game was okay for what it was. But Bengals and Steelers were the really interesting one because it was the most obvious trap game in the history of obvious trap games. But we'll get there. We'll talk about it later in the show. In terms of college games, we will be discussing Louisville, Miami. We'll be talking about Georgia and Ole Miss. We'll be doing Alabama and Tennessee. We'll be doing LSU and Vanderbilt. And we will be doing Arizona State and Texas Tech. So, Eric, you ready to get started?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Friday night, I'm not really paying much attention to the world of sports because hockey is starting to get up and running. Penguins are supposed to be pretty average this year. You know, I'm having a nice night. I'm watching a horror movie. You know, it's Halloween. You got to watch a horror movie, right? So I was rewatching the first It to prepare for the new It TV series that comes out on Sunday. And much to my chagrin, I look on ESPN at halftime of Louisville, Miami. Eric, what the hell happened?
Billy Napier was fired at Florida.
Oh, that too. That too. Yeah, we should start with that, shouldn't we? I didn't even think about
probably.
that.
Yeah.
You're right. Not much to say. He's terrible. We've been talking about it for weeks. How he wasn't fired 2 years ago is beyond me. I mean, are we surprised? He barely beat Mississippi State, Eric, last week, who's better this season. They're one of the more improved teams in the country, but they are still reeling from the death of Mike Leach. They aren't even anywhere close to being a legitimate team. Florida barely beat them. I mean, Billy Napier has already lost more games in the SEC than Spurrier lost in his 12 years at Florida. And Napier beat past Spurrier's SEC losses like 2-3 years ago. So good riddance. I don't think any Florida fan is sad, right? Is anyone sad? No.
Probably not.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, not a very good coach. His play calling was always baffling. He never could get a quarterback. Anthony Richardson wasn't the answer. DJ Lagway wasn't the answer. No one he brought in was the answer. He never had a QB, and that's the linchpin of an offense, right? I mean, if you don't have that, you're not successful. Not a great recruiter. Not great at utilizing the portal outside of one or two exceptions. I could go on and on. He's just not a good coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that did surprise me, though, I mean, they fired him after a win, which you never really see that happen. But, I mean, it wasn't a good win anyway, so it's not
Yeah.
that big.
And the fans were booing him after the game. Fire Billy. Like they were booing that during the game, dude. So, I mean, it's as bad as Fire Franklin at Penn State Northwestern. So it's just yeah, not much to say. There's a reason, guys. We were going to talk about Billy Napier. I completely forgot during the intro to mention Billy Napier because he's so irrelevant and he's such a useless hack of a coach. I don't even feel. I feel wasting the 2 minutes we have on him is a waste of time. If we're being totally honest, I mean, he's just a dud. Not much to say. Let's move on with our lives. I'm sure Billy will too.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, it had to happen. And
Yeah.
it comes as no surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
Franklin, James Franklin, that was a surprise a little bit, but that again had to happen. But I mean, this one, it comes as no surprise, and he'll be replaced, and they'll probably be better without him anyway. So
Yeah, definitely. One quick thing, Erica, I want to ask you: what were your thoughts on James Franklin going on College Game Day less than a week after his termination?
I don't mind it, but I mean, it was a little weird to me though that he would even like it was just weird.
Yeah.
but like the reason I don't mind it is because like he agreed to it. I mean, he knows what's coming. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he knows what he's getting himself into, headline wise. But I mean, it that came as a surprise to me, to be honest. But hey, man, maybe he'll go over to Florida. Who knows?
I was literally talking about that with people today. I bet you Florida comes a calling, and I wouldn't be surprised. Franklin got he really made a name for himself at Vanderbilt, and he turned a garbage Vanderbilt team into a perennial 9-win program. So he has experience in the SEC. I think Florida is going to come a calling. I think that's actually a very good fit for him if he chooses to go there.
Yeah,
That would be an interesting fit. But no, I was baffled by Franklin's appearance personally because he said we're gonna win a national championship somewhere else. That's the funniest thing I've heard in the last 3 months.
oh yeah,
The fact that he had the guts to say that. And then also, I understand that he and Nick Saban have the same agent. But Nick, buddy, you do not need to go out there on national TV and lecture us and wax poetic about how Franklin was robbed and done dirty. He was not done dirty. He lost to 0-4 UCLA, and he lost to another 21-point underdog in Northwestern. He was fired for just reasons. I don't want to hear a single word about how James Franklin was thrown to the wolves. And again, I know Saban is obligated to defend Franklin because of, again, the connection with the agent, but still, Nick, you're smarter than that. You don't need to do that. Like be cordial, be nice to him, and then let him lick his wounds and leave. I don't know. I just felt Saban's defense was like so half baked and again just so remedial in its and superficial in its presentation. I just thought it was very, very bad, but that's just me. And again, I'm coming from a biased point of view, So
right. Yeah, I mean,
so I just wanted to know your thoughts on that. I was curious because when I saw that, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I didn't know until late day Friday that he was even going to be on there. When I heard that,
mm,
you should have seen my face. The gasp I emitted was grand. But yeah, just so weird to me. Okay. That's kind of I guess that's the news roundup, right? Uh,
yeah, pretty
is there
much.
anything else besides Napier and Franklin's that we
I
wanted
don't
to
think so.
touch
No,
on?
it's
That's all
really
I
it.
can think of.
Yeah.
Ray McLeod for the Falcons got released today after this team excused him for personal reasons to skip the game. So clearly he did something illegal, and I'm curious to see what he did. I don't know. Did you see that, Eric? I don't know if you saw that.
I did not see
Yeah,
that.
the Ray McLeod, who's had a pretty decent year for the Falcons. He was the team. He left the team on Friday to deal with what the team called a personal matter. Raheem Morris was defending him and all that, and then today the Falcons cut him. So it's like, what in the? You have to wonder, like, what happened. I mean, it was a personal matter. They didn't say for disciplinary reasons, so I don't know what was going on there. I'm curious to see what story comes out of that. That was just a weird, oddball thing that I was like, huh, you don't see that every day. But yeah, that's it for news. So I'm ready to get to the games if you are.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so you heard my spiel for my lead up to Louisville, Miami. I screwed up the Billy Napier thing, so I'm not going to do the build up again, but I stand by it. I was shocked. Eric, what was going on in Louisville, Miami?
Yeah, Louisville comes in and beats Miami 24-21 on the road too. It makes it even worse.
Good God.
I mean, Carson Beck looked just like he did at Georgia. Um, 25 for 35, 271 yards, 4 interceptions, no passing touchdowns.
Ugh.
I mean, I mean, we were hyping up Miami, a little bit. I mean,
Yeah.
we weren't fully buying into the stock that they were the number 2 team in the country.
No, but we were applauding Mario Cristobal for Notre Dame and Florida State when they were a respectable team, and we were giving them props. Like Cristobal was finally starting to turn a corner. We both commented about how Beck was a great fit in that program. Like, and then literally on the flip of a dime after a bye week, they go into, clearly the bye week killed that team because they were not prepared for Louisville at all. It was just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Just totally embarrassing. Uh, yeah. I don't even know what else to say, dude. 4 picks and 0 TDs. How do you do that? And the rushing game. I'm looking at the rushing stats right now. Mark Fletcher's had a pretty good year. Um, just completely non-existent. Malachi Tony had basically all of the receiving yards. No one else was on the field for in terms of receivers. Um, just and it was just bad. It was really bad. I only watched the second half, and that team looked so discombobulated and ill prepared. It was hard to believe that this is the team that beat Notre Dame.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, Notre Dame, I mean, they haven't looked the greatest either, but this
No,
is a really bad loss for Miami, especially because I mean, like, Louisville is not terrible. They're not terrible, of course, but they're
no,
not that good either. I mean,
yeah,
Miller Moss is just okay.
yeah. Never
His
impressed me
deci
at USC. He never
Yeah,
impressed me at USC.
yeah, I mean, his decision making is better than it obviously was at USC.
Sure,
I mean, he's a senior, so I mean, he's gotta have some pocket presence,
of
but
course.
I mean, I don't know, he didn't really impress me too much in this game, honestly, and honestly, all year he really hasn't.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you. Louisville is since Lamar. I mean, look, Lamar's a unicorn. We all know that. They were never going to completely come back from that entire situation. The loss to Virginia wasn't great, but Louisville's respectable this year. They're now ranked 19, which is higher than they've been in a couple years, if I recall. And their schedule coming up is pretty easy. I mean, it's not the easiest. I mean, Virginia Tech's a gimme, but BC should be a win. Clemson lost again. They might barely make a bowl game at the rate they're going at. Cal is so hit or miss. They're a flash in the pan. SMU is having a down year, all things considered. I mean they're 5-2, but they're that's a down year for them after last year. And then Kentucky is having a down year, so Louisville could finish the season with like 2 losses and be a dark horse playoff contender, which I would have never guessed with Miller Moss as your QB, and being in the ACC. I mean, obviously they're gonna have to play. I they're gonna have to play Georgia Tech in the title game, but that'll be it's Louisville's an intriguing team. I'm not buying in it whatsoever, but they're someone you should keep an eye on. You
Yeah,
know,
definitely, but
you should keep a side eye on them. They're interesting.
yeah, for sure. I mean, Miami's definitely gonna rebound from this loss, though. I mean, it's basically all on Carson Beck. Everyone else played fine, except the run game was pretty,
Yeah,
honestly, not even average. It was just terrible.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, you can't really blame Carson Beck entirely, but you can. I mean, he threw 4 interceptions. You're not gonna
exactly.
win throwing the ball
Yeah,
over,
yeah,
4 times. But they came close to winning, which was honestly, I mean, that's not that good for Louisville.
yeah,
But I mean, yeah, Carson Beck, man, he looked so bad this game.
yeah,
Decision making was terrible. He was throwing into double coverage all the time.
yeah,
Which some of those picks came on that.
yeah.
And
The picks were really bad.
yeah,
They
they were
these
terrible.
weren't these weren't these weren't bobbles in the air, guys. These were
Yeah.
awful decisions. These were
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah, it
Um,
was horrible. A really bad game, one of the worst we've seen from Carson Beck, as of
I would
late, especially
agree.
this season. You know, he leaves Georgia, and I didn't really think he was that good at Georgia anyway.
Sure.
But comes in here and he starts proving me wrong, and then now he's right back to, I'm right back to really not believing in him
Yep.
for doing really anything. So
When people tell
yeah,
you who they are, believe them. Carson Beck has told us so many times who he is. And
right,
to be fair, we bought in this last time, and I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna pretend I didn't.
right.
But yeah, no, he had a really bad game. I agree with you. Miami should be able to bounce back. They only fell to 9th because again, the committee recognizes Louisville's pretty good. But their schedule coming up is super light. Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, and Pitt.
Yeah, I would say their next test is really Pitt, and that's not really a test, but Pitt's underrated. But I mean,
Yeah,
they're gonna win.
Pitt's underrated, but they're not top 20 caliber. So I mean, Everything else should be a solid victory. SMU could be a bit of a challenge because again, they're not that bad. They're 5-2, but Syracuse is having a down year. We've talked about them. They should make the playoff. They should. Um, but I mean, it's Louisville is again, the fact that we're now talking about Louisville as a dark horse ACC title game contender when we all thought it was going to be Miami and Georgia Tech says a lot about Miami, I think, because I don't think either of us feel Georgia Tech is going away.
Right.
So Miami's definitely more culpable to fall away, considering again Mario Cristobal's track record and Carson Beck's track record at Georgia. Um, but it's gonna be a fascinating conference to keep an eye on. It's the most interesting the ACC's been in a while. Normally the ACC is a a complete joke. Complete waste of time for any college football fan, and any football fan really knows that. I don't care if you're a Pitt fan. Oh, the ACC is great. No, it's not. But this, you got three teams that are actually pretty solid. So we'll see if any of them can really break through. But we even said Miami's not number two. We were saying that last week.
Yeah.
This shouldn't really be too big of a surprise. Um, and yeah,
I
we'll
was
see it.
surprised with how bad Carson Beck played, if anything.
I was very
Because
surprised too. I expected Miami to eventually maybe choke a game or two. I did not expect Beck to play that poorly.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a surprise. But
for sure.
but yeah, again, he's done this before. It's not like we're seeing a new side of him. So again, you can't be too surprised, right?
Right.
But yeah, we'll see how Miami progresses. I agree with you. Looking at their schedule, SMU and Pitt are definitely the two challengers, and I can see them choking one of those two games. I don't
Yeah.
know if I would agree with you that Pitt is that game,
I
but
don't think I don't know if Pitt's that game, but I would say, like, that's I don't know, man, because, like, SMU is they're just okay. They're not what
they're
they
okay.
were last year.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I don't know. But I mean, I think they still win out. They'll be okay, but
Sure. I'm
it's
just
just
saying those two games, those could be trap games.
right.
And also those two games are on the road. So Miami's going to have to travel to Texas and Pittsburgh. Um so we'll see what happens there. It's going to be interesting. Again, I agree with you. They're probably going to win out, but don't be surprised if they lose one of those two games. Those are two trap games there.
Yeah, for sure.
Um yeah, other than complaining about Beck, I really didn't have anything to say.
It was all I had on that. It was just surprised me.
Yeah, yeah, and also good for Miller Moss. He really got shunted out at USC. Um, Lincoln Riley stood by him, and he really choked the ball. Um, he did not deliver for that program. Was shunted out in the portal. And this is a really nice comeback season for him. He's not going anywhere, NFL career or anything. But uh, if I'm him, I'm feeling so good, right? Because I get shunted away at say what you will about USC. They're a college football legend. They're a legendary program in college football. Despite what they are right now under Lincoln Riley, and he got pushed away from there in a pretty humiliating fashion. He's found himself at Louisville, and he's having a really solid year. So good for him. You know,
Yeah.
I love vindication stories. I love when you can go somewhere and you can really prove yourself. And Miller Moss is proving himself, even if he isn't putting up the sexiest stat line. So
Yeah,
that,
for
that
sure.
that feels good. And I agree with you. It's all about pocket presence, right? He has very good pocket presence. He's a leader, and you can tell. Um, I completely agree with you there. So anything else you have on this game? That's all I have.
No, that's all I had, just Carson Beck.
Yeah, Carson back. Am I right? Uh, okay. An awesome game here. Number 5, Ole Miss at number 9, Georgia. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, Georgia beats Ole Miss 43-35 in a offensive shootout. Defense nowhere to be found in this one. Gunnar Stockton played a very clean game. Played way better than Carson Beck did.
Yeah.
um, Went 26 for 31, 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's as
What a
clean as it
game.
gets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What a
and
game.
then I mean, yeah, just a great game, it's that also surprised me. And we've seen Gunnar Stockton. He's kind of turned the corner, especially this year. He's
Yeah.
definitely better. But I didn't think he was gonna toss up that good of a stat line, especially in this game against a great opponent.
Yeah. Yeah, he outplayed Trinidad Chambliss, who's been like a college football darling this season. I haven't seen many people call him like a Heisman candidate or anything, but Trinidad Chambliss has had a very good season. I mean, he had a pretty good game. 19 for 36, 263 yards with one touchdown. That's a really solid game. He had a couple rushing yards too. He's a solid dual threat. Um, yeah, I mean, again, as you said, offensive shootout. Um, it really was again, and also Ole Miss, their running game. Where was Georgia's run defense? Ole Miss was running all over them. They had over 250 rushing yards, or sorry, 250 receiving yards rather in the game. Um, and it was from a couple QBs, I believe, and it was just a really strong performance from the Ole Miss offense. But the defense was just so bad against Gunnar Stockton, who really has yet to have that amazing game. In many ways, I think, Eric, this is the game that Gunnar Stockton solidified himself.
Yeah,
This
for
is the
sure.
game. This is his signature win at home against a top 10 opponent, with a really good defense. And he played almost perfectly, almost lights out. I mean, that's as good as it gets, man.
Yeah, it really is, and a lot of you talk about the run game. The run game was good. Trinidad Chambliss, obviously, he led the team in rushing yards, 9 carries, 42 yards,
Yeah.
2 touchdowns on the ground. Only threw one in the air, but I mean, they kept it close. It's not that big of a deal. Not too concerned about it. Obviously a great dual threat. We've
Yeah.
seen what he can do with his legs. But I just want to see what he can do more with his arm. I mean, he didn't play lights out in the air,
He
to be
didn't.
honest with you. He went 19 for 36, 263 yards and a touchdown. I mean, that's not that good, to be honest. And
Yeah.
so
If
yeah, I would like to
Georgia's,
see him.
yeah. Yeah. No,
I
I
would
was
like to
just
see
going to
him.
say, go, please talk. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I would just all I'm saying is I would just like to see what he can do with his arm a little more, especially in this game. But I mean, he's a commander, obviously, because he can, not the best decision making, but
Yeah.
it's fine. I mean, not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, if Georgia's red zone rush defense wasn't so bad, we'd be having a very different conversation.
For sure.
Right? Like Georgia's red zone rush defense was so bad, 4 rushing TDs for Ole Miss. That is not good. And it really was just bad all around. If they don't have that game, then Ole Miss is scoring maybe 18 points. And again, we're having a very different conversation. Um, really bad game for Trinidad Chambliss overall, even if he does have a stat line that is okay, because I agree with you. He was missing a lot of throws. He is small out there. He gives me Bryce Young vibes and not in a good way.
Yeah.
Um, and it just again, you see the receiving yards from the Ole Miss offense, and you're like, oh, great game. But then you dig below the surface, and again, it's Bryce Young all over again. And did Bryce Young win a national championship? No, he did not. So he did win an SEC title, to be fair, but Bryce Young is not going to go down as a classic Alabama quarterback, right?
Right.
So it's going to be Ole Miss. Yeah, they definitely have a lot of questions. Despite scoring 35 points against top 10 opponent, which is very impressive. But considering their hype going into the game, I expected a little more from them, and my gut was telling me that Ole Miss was going to win the game. I was going into this game kind of expecting Ole Miss to win, if we're being honest. And again, the offense didn't quite perform as I expected them to. But I'm a Georgia fan, so I wasn't complaining. um, yeah, but I guess moving on to Georgia and talking about them some more. Um, the receivers had a very good game. Zachariah Branch has been a very good acquisition from the portal this year, and he had another very good game, 71 receiving yards. Dylan Bell has had a solid year as a running back and receiver as well. He had a long catch, I believe, in the third quarter, if I remember correctly. Lawson Lucky had 3 receiving touchdowns. What a game for that. What a weird stat line. Look at this stat. Listen to the stat line, Eric. Lawson Lucky for the Georgia Bulldogs had 5 receptions, 43 yards, 43 receiving yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Wow.
What an odd stat line.
Yeah.
And they did all this without Oscar Delp, who's been not the tight end that Brock Bowers was, but he's been, had a solid year. He was almost non-existent in this game, and Georgia was able to score quite a number of points against Ole Miss. Yeah, dude, the vibe for this one for me was just a classic SEC matchup, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this is what the SEC is all about. Constant back and forths, hard physical football, deliriously entertaining to watch. I really enjoyed watching this one, especially at dinner Saturday night. We were watching the end of it and watching it in a packed restaurant. There's just really no feeling like it. It was awesome. It was really really cool to watch. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. In terms of long-term outlook, which I guess is the next step of this conversation, how are you viewing Ole Miss and Georgia right now? Because Ole Miss had the victory against LSU, which was, say we're going to talk about LSU in a couple minutes here, but at the time that was, substantial, right? They have Oklahoma next week, who's possibly looking a little fraudulent. So I do think Ole Miss wins that game, and then after that, it's easy pickings in terms of the schedule. Are you buying into Ole Miss as someone who can make it to maybe the semifinal, or are you feeling that they could be a one and done in the playoff?
It really all just depends on who they play. Um,
Sure.
'cause and it's hard to kinda judge it right now just 'cause their best win isn't great. Um, they started the season also with a lot of close games. Honestly, pretty much every game they've had except Tulane has been real close. Um, and it's all been one-score games against teams that aren't great. Kentucky, like you said, is having a down year. Arkansas is good, but I mean,
I mean, they
they're
fired their coach, but they have had a solid year since firing their coach. Like they got
right,
much
right,
better after firing Sam Pittman. So right now
for
they're
sure.
not a bad team.
Right, but at the time they still had them. But anyway,
Sure.
but this Oklahoma game, this is a big game for them. It's a must win, you could
It
say.
is. I think
And
Oklahoma's a must win. I agree.
yeah, and Oklahoma's they've looked good. You know, so but not great. You
Yeah.
know, they got
Yeah.
blown out
Agreed.
by Texas. A few weeks ago we talked about that game.
Yeah.
So this is two, just two weird teams right now, and that still have a little bit more to prove to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Georgia, look, the Tennessee win. We're going to talk about them in a couple minutes too. That was another thriller.
Yeah.
Alabama was hard fought. You know, they made a comeback, but it wasn't enough. Um, but looking ahead at Georgia's schedule, Florida. I mean, I guess that could be technically a trap game because it's always at a neutral field. Remember, Georgia, Florida, and also Florida's going into a bye week, which is probably one of the reasons they fired Napier when they did.
Right.
And that team could be a little energized going into the Georgia game with something to prove. So Florida could be a bit of a challenge for Georgia. We should keep that in mind. But Mississippi State, Texas, eh. Um, Georgia Tech is definitely the challenge. That's the end of your rivalry game. Georgia Tech is looking surprisingly good. I even almost forgot about the Charlotte game. No one cares about Charlotte. So that game's irrelevant. But Georgia, I think Florida is going to be maybe a bit of a challenge. Texas a bit of a challenge, but they'll win both of them. The question will be Georgia Tech. Is Georgia Tech going to give are they going to run the ball down Georgia's throats the way that Ole Miss did in key situations in Saturday's game? If Georgia Tech can, Georgia Tech wins that game. So that's going to be a really interesting watch.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and like you said, that I think Georgia Tech. That's honestly their next test. Texas is good, but Arch Manning, we know he's not that good.
Of course.
He's looked terrible, and
Yeah.
but if this defense keeps letting up, if they let up 35 points again,
Yeah.
it's not what you wanna see, and they've honestly been giving up to they've given up a lot of points to good teams, this year so far. They
Uh-huh.
let up, 41 to Tennessee, 24 to Alabama. That's not terrible, but Alabama wasn't that good at that time,
Sure.
because they were just coming off that loss,
Yep.
but yeah, I mean, I think they beat Texas. I can't say with ease just because of their defense right now, but Arch Manning, he hasn't obviously looked that good. He hasn't impressed me at all.
Yeah,
Um,
they'll win.
y
They'll beat Texas. That's an
yeah.
easy victory.
So, yeah, their next test is Georgia Tech, and that's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be close, and it honestly might be low scoring as well, so we'll see.
It might be because I suspect that again, with how often Georgia Tech runs the ball, that game is going to be low scoring because both teams are just going to run clock, right? So it's going to be an interesting watch. I think again, if the red zone rush defense is as bad as it was against Ole Miss, for
Yeah.
Georgia Tech, Kirby Smart has to clean that up, has to. Um, so yeah, I guess we'll put a pin in Georgia because again, right now they're very good, but grass is green, water is wet. When are they not? Right, especially under Kirby Smart. So, um, but yeah, no, definitely a hard fought victory. Fun game to watch. I really liked it. Um, and yeah, it will be interesting to see how Ole Miss recovers.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, because again, Lane Kiffin doesn't strike me as the kind of guy who can motivate a locker room post loss. He strikes me as someone who has the charisma of a pencil, and I think you need someone who the players can really rally behind to truly motivate. So I don't know. Maybe Lane will prove me wrong. He's proven me wrong before. He's a pretty good coach.
Yeah.
Um, okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, then a game that was, I guess, a little surprising, but also not very surprising, right? Number
Yeah.
11 Tennessee visiting number 6 Alabama. Eric.
Yeah, so Alabama, beats Tennessee 37-20 at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, good game. I mean, it was like you said, it wasn't that surprising.
No.
Just 2 okay teams, but Alabama jumps to 4th now again,
Yeah.
in the rankings after this one, which, I mean, that's kinda crazy after, their loss to Florida State or whatever, but
Yeah.
uh
It's like that Jesse Pinkman meme of they can't keep getting away with it.
Yeah,
Like, every
exactly.
time you think Alabama's out of our lives, they come roaring back.
Yeah, for sure, but
Ty Simpson, dude, I'm telling you, I know it's only like a
is
very
it
small
too early to
sample
say
size.
Heisman?
I don't know if I'd say Heisman, but in terms of like young quarterbacks who are leading the pocket with and controlling the pocket with like ease, he is doing an incredible job. He doesn't have a great line. He's been running a lot, but I think he leads the league with passing yards on the run this year. Like his line isn't great, but he's doing a great job maneuvering the pocket and running outside when he needs to. I'm really impressed with him.
Yeah,
I don't know if he gives me Jackson Dart vibes. I don't know if he'll make it in the pros, but Cy Simpson, I like him a lot, actually. A lot. I'm surprised how much I liked him, especially after how bad he looked against Florida State, right? Um, but yeah, he had a very solid game. 253 passing yards with 2 TDs. Really, really solid performance. Ryan Williams having one of his best games of the year. We were talking early on about how Ryan Williams was kind of non-existent on the field at times this season. Right back to having a great game. 87 receiving yards for him. The running game looked okay. Yeah, just an all-around really solid win for Alabama. I thought they played very, very well.
yeah, as far as Ryan Williams goes, like you were saying, he hasn't been too good this year.
Yeah,
I mean, he's just been struggling to get in the end zone. He only has 3 touchdowns on the year.
yeah,
I mean, he only has 26 receptions. Last year we saw the touchdown count, receiving yards count, and honestly, even reception count was way higher. They were throwing to him way more. It's not that they're not utilizing him. It's just like I feel he's just like in his own head or something. I don't know what's going on.
yeah.
Uh, he's been getting a lot of criticism lately just because of his play, and it's hard to live up to what he did in year one. But
Of
I
course.
mean, if you're that good, you should be able to do it again. um, Not saying he's bad, but just
Yeah,
definitely a little bit of a sophomore slump, which still he's playing great, so it's not that big of a deal.
yeah, yeah. I don't think anyone expected him to be quite as good, but I was expecting a little more this
Yeah,
season
for
from
sure.
him. But no, he had a really solid game. I liked him a lot. As for Tennessee, guys, they gave up. I mean, they barely beat Mississippi State. They barely beat Arkansas. And I know we just said Arkansas has been better since they fired Sam Pittman, but still, it's Arkansas. Like Tennessee has had a lot of close calls this season. So I really was not surprised at the result at all. I mean, Josh Heupel has proven to be a really solid coach for them. And overall he's done a very good job, but he continues to fail to truly level up. He fails to become an elite head coach. Um, he'll occasionally have the big win. He's not James Franklin in that way, but he is always the bridesmaid, never the bride. And honestly, at this point, I think we just have to classify him as the bridesmaid permanently. You know, like I say that in both a joking manner and in a serious manner. I feel Tennessee will perennially just squeak into the playoff and they get murdered in the first round. Like, what else is new? You know, I
Yeah,
just
we saw it happen last year. I mean, it's nothing.
exactly, exactly. Joey Aguilar was okay. 28 for 44, 266 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Yeah, totally fine, passable, acceptable performance. But on the road against Alabama, you got to play your best if you want to win.
Yeah,
And he didn't. He really didn't. The run game was fine. But yeah, overall the team just really did not play very well, and it wasn't a good game. But again, I'm not surprised considering how Tennessee again barely beat Mississippi State and barely beat Arkansas. They were on upset watch 2 weeks in a row. Um, so again, I'm not very surprised. I'm not surprised at all.
yeah, for sure. I
Um,
mean, yeah, they're not as good, but they did lose a lot of talent.
sure,
Um,
they did.
they lost.
Hendon Hooker was amazing for them. He was so good.
Yeah,
It's hard to replace that. To be fair to Aguilar, it's hard to replace that.
for sure. And then yeah, with they lost Squirrel White as well, which super fast,
Yeah,
good
you're
receiver
right
as
about
well.
that.
And that was the wide receiver one last year. So it's hard, but you just got. I mean, these SEC schools, they got all this money in the world to pay these recruits, so it's not really they shouldn't be dropping off like this. So
Yeah.
you know, it's yeah, but I don't know.
Yeah. In terms of looking forward for Alabama, next week's a gimme. It's South Carolina. Shane Beamer is not having a great season as the coach of South Carolina. I really thought they were going to turn a corner, but they're having a down year. So next week should be easy for Alabama. But 2 weeks is LSU. That'll be their next ranked opponent. They should win that game. Because LSU, again, we'll talk about them in a couple minutes here, but they took a tumble. So Alabama, their schedule going forward is pretty tame. As for Tennessee, their schedule is honestly easier than Alabama's. They've got Oklahoma and Vandy, and I'm not taking the Diego Pavia pill. Are you?
Not really.
Yeah. Oh wait. Oh, we shouldn't be talking about him yet because we're going to talk about him in the next section. I almost forgot. Well, so we'll put a pin in Diego Pavia talk for now. But overall, I guess Tennessee is just again. I'm just not buying into them, man.
Yeah.
I'm not. They'll finish 11th or 12th and get killed. Right?
Yep.
Let's,
It's like last year.
let's call it like we see it. um, yeah. Okay. Good win for Alabama. We'll see if they can
Yeah.
use this momentum. If Ty Simpson keeps playing the way he is, dude, they could go far.
Yeah, they could. They've really turned it around. So
They have. They really
yeah.
have. Okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yep.
Okay, we got LSU number 10 LSU visiting number 17 Vanderbilt. Eric, what do you have on that one?
Yeah, Vanderbilt wins it at home 31-24 against LSU, and LSU plummets in the AP poll, dropped down to 20, I believe.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. But like we were just saying, Diego Pavia, I mean, he didn't play that good.
No.
He honestly didn't play good at all. He
No.
he commanded the game on the ground, and that was
Yep.
really it. He went 14 for 22, 160 yards, and a touchdown. No interceptions, but I mean, but he had 86 yards on the ground with 2 touchdowns. So it's like
Kelsey's
hard to really. He's a good dual threat, but and he showed that he can pass. I mean,
sure.
we're not really. It's hard to like discredit him right now, but I
Yeah,
mean, we've seen what he can do. But they just got killed by Alabama last week,
exactly.
and he didn't honestly play that good last week. He played all right, but not great. So yeah, I mean, he's good, but he's not great.
Yeah. Cosign on everything you just said. That fan base worships him like the second coming of Christ. And honestly, I can kind of see why,
But yeah,
but I agree with you completely. He's fine, right? I mean, let's just call it. This game is more about LSU. Good for Vanderbilt. This is a really solid win for that fan base. But we need to talk LSU.
yep.
My God, we knew Nussmeier was a fraud. I don't care what his stat line says. He was awful. He was awful. He's like a deer in headlights back there, dude. He is not good at all. It's bad. Yeah, it was 19 for 28, 225 passing yards with 2 TDs and no picks, to be fair. But I mean, against Vanderbilt, you only have a QBR of 67.5. Really? At LSU? If not for Arch Manning, we'd be calling him one of the biggest quarterback busts in recent years. And I'm sick of pretending like he's a top 10 QB in the draft. He's not. He bothers me. He makes me angry. I'm not even an LSU fan. I'll tell you what, dude. If I were an LSU fan, I'd want to strangle Garrett Nussmeier. I would want to strangle him. I would want to kill him in front of the entire LSU crowd. And I bet you the LSU crowd would cheer. I mean, they'd cheer. I mean, the Penn State crowd cheered when Aller shattered his ankle. So I'm not. I believe that that the LSU crowd would support Nussmeier death by strangulation.
Whoa.
I've seen the worst of the worst from fan bases, dude. I've seen the worst of the worst. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything to add on Nussmeier? I feel we've kind of beaten this drum in the past.
Yeah, we have. We've said it before. He's
Yeah,
not good. And it's just sounds like a broken record, but he's not doing anything to prove us right or prove us wrong, I guess, saying that he is good. So, I mean, yeah, and they're right where they belong. I mean, they're right where they belong at 20.
yeah,
Um, we've been saying this all year. They were, I think, 4th coming
they
into the
were
year, which
forthcoming, which is ridiculous.
unreal. I mean, they
Yeah,
have no notable wins at all. Um,
no,
so yeah.
yeah, no. Brian Kelly's continued insistence on starting him is beyond me. Like, I understand loyalty, but to a quarterback, but the way Nussmeier's playing, I just don't know how much longer you can stand by him and pretend to be a top 15 team. I agree with you. LSU is right at home at 20. And by that logic, Nussmeier fits like a glove. But LSU and their fan base expected more, and he's just not doing that. So you'd think that they would be doing more to spur that, especially since the SEC is kind of still in reach at this point, right? LSU's only 5-2. Georgia has 1 loss. Bama has 1 loss. Vandy has 1 loss. Like, the SEC's still in reach. So I don't know why they aren't making more of an effort to like compete. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it's definitely a loyalty thing just because of what I mean, he was definitely way better last year,
Uh
than
huh.
this year, and it's because he had more protection and better receivers. I mean, he had Kyron Lacy,
Yeah.
Will Campbell. It's I mean, it's just like he had more protection and better receivers, but it's hard to I mean, they they never should be dropped all the way down to 20 when he just had the season like he did,
Yeah.
and they didn't really lose any talent, like, because they still have talent. It's just like there's really no excuse for him, especially this late in the year. I mean, he hasn't done anything all year, so
Well, I guess you could kind of defend him if you blamed it all on Brian Kelly, but I think that would be unfair.
I think so too. Just because I mean, we've seen what he's been doing. It's not,
Yeah.
and I mean, and their schedule coming up doesn't help them either. It's Texas A&M, Alabama, Arkansas, who they could definitely lose to,
Yeah. At this rate.
WKU, and then Oklahoma. So I mean, they could literally could drop maybe 3 more games, and
That's the schedule. Jesus. Yeah,
yeah,
that's a tougher schedule. I agree with you. Arkansas is, again, that's the way the offense is playing. Arkansas can score,
Yeah,
30 on them. Yeah, I mean, again, Brian Kelly, I've been saying this for a long time. He's an okay coach, but has really struggled to break through at LSU for a myriad of reasons. But I really don't think you can blame this all on him. I think you have to blame it on Nussmeier. He's just not. He's not the guy, dude. He's
yeah.
just
I
not.
mean, yeah, you can blame Brian Kelly all you want, but at the end of the day, it comes down to execution.
Yep.
Nussmeier's not been executing, and I mean, it's not just Nussmeier; it's the whole team, really.
Sure.
Running backs, they've looked solid this year, with Harlan Berry and Caden Durham, but
Yeah. Caden Durham's a really solid back. Really solid.
yeah, they can't carry the team, and if Nussmeier can't throw, they're not gonna go anywhere. They almost won, yes, but I mean, it's not nothing crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, the defense wasn't fully prepared for Pavia's run game, and the offense just. But the thing is, the offense should be able to make up for that, right?
For sure.
And they
Yeah,
aren't,
definitely.
plain and simple. So it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot for LSU. I don't know how they move forward, especially with that schedule. That's a tough schedule because A&M
Yeah,
looks
honestly,
really good right now.
yeah, and you talk about moving forward, it's just like, I don't think they do, I think this is where they stop right here.
Sure,
Um,
that's
they
fair.
could definitely I mean, look, they could definitely win one of these ranked games and, it wouldn't be that big of a surprise because it's
Yeah,
LSU, but it's just Nussmeier's gotta play better. I mean, if he plays
yeah,
like this against Vanderbilt, who's not bad obviously this year, but, I mean, they're still Vanderbilt, they're not great.
exactly. They're not elite.
Um, and he hasn't looked good all year, even against Ole Miss, he didn't look good, so it's like it's tough, and they're just not scoring any points. I mean, they've really been struggling with scoring points. Obviously, the first game against Clemson, they scored 17. Um, the most points they scored this year was 56, and it was against Southeast Louisiana. So I mean, that's like a FCS school or something. I don't even know. So
Yeah,
no, nothing's been impressive since really that point at all. Nussmeier's look bad, and like I said, they can drop even 4 more games. They could lose all these games here and
yeah,
just win against WKU. So.
yeah, yeah. Definitely, I completely agree. Um, okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay. Next up, we have Arizona State hosting number 7 Texas Tech. Eric, what was going on in that one?
Yeah, huge upset here. Texas Tech loses 22-26 to Arizona State on the road. And yeah, I mean, this is a huge upset.
Yeah.
Texas Tech drops to 14. Arizona State now ranked in the 24 spot. Um,
Good for them. That program, I mean, Scadaboo brought them more onto the mainstream space last year.
yeah,
And they hadn't really, you know, kind of made their own identity. Um, this year, they hadn't really asserted themselves, but this is a very big win for them. I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, Texas Tech had a backup quarterback and they lost on a last second touchdown." Sure, okay, fine, whatever. But still, this is a big win for Arizona State. I don't care if it was against a backup quarterback. That is a big deal win for that program. And yeah, they're right in the heat of it within the Big 12. So good for them. Arizona State, I think, is one of those teams where it's very easy to like them even if you're not in the fan base.
yeah,
They're kind of
100%.
like the underdog that could.
Yeah,
So I like them a lot. Texas Tech, I mean, again, backup QB who didn't deliver. Will Hammond, my God, this stat line 22 for 37, 167 passing yards, 2 TDs and 1 pick, and only 47 yards on the ground. So he didn't even pull a Pavia and
and he
make
led
up
the
for
team
the
in rushing.
crappy. Yeah, he didn't even pull a Pavia and make up for the crappy passing line, right? So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, look, was he thrown into a tough situation? Sure, Arizona State's not a bad team, but he did not deliver at
yeah,
all. And yeah, this is a crushing blow. Texas Tech was starting to turn a corner, man. That's a bad loss for them.
yeah, really bad. Yeah,
Bad loss for them. Um, yeah, I after the Utah win, what was that, like a month ago or so? I don't remember. It was around that time. I
yeah.
was starting to think that again, Utah is not having the best season, but they're. I was like, you know what, Texas Tech might actually have a really really solid team here. They were ranked a little high. I never thought they were number 7,
Oh, yeah.
but I thought
For
they were 10, 11, somewhere in that range. but yeah, this loss definitely brings them back down to reality. And I think they're going to struggle to even squeak into the playoff, dude. I know they only have one loss, but their upcoming schedule is trash. You have Oklahoma State, Kansas State, ranked BYU, yay team, right? But then you have UCF and WVU. That is such a terrible schedule. If you squeak out a win against BYU, which is possible, I don't know if the rest of the schedule is good enough to get into the playoff. I think they might have just blown their shot with this Arizona State loss. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's not
that's
yeah, that's
really hard. That's really bad.
yeah, I mean, that's not ridiculous to say. I mean, like you said, they were ranked way too high at 7. They were not 7 by any means.
No.
Um, they don't really have that good of a win at all this whole entire year. Um,
Yeah.
so
You know what they reminded me of? Florida State without Jordan Travis, where
yep.
you
Yeah,
watch
that's
the
a good
team
example.
play. The difference is that Florida State still put off the wins, but
Yeah.
you watch the team and you're like, you are lucky. Remember. Do you remember that game when Florida State? Who did they beat in the ACC title game to complete the undefeated season? Was it Louisville? I want to say it was. Yeah, no, it was Louisville. It was Louisville in when they played where they play the game in Charlotte, North Carolina, right in the Panther Stadium for the ACC title game. And I remember watching that game, Eric, and that Florida State team, I don't care that they won, looked so bad that I completely supported leaving them out of the top 4.
Yeah.
And this Texas Tech team gives me the same exact vibes, where with a backup QB, you just look completely different and completely devoid of a lot of the spirit that you had. And again, the difference here is that they actually lost the game, but yeah, they're not going anywhere. I think the schedule just isn't good enough to make up for this loss. It's just not, plain and simple. Utah and BYU isn't enough.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, yeah. I guess if they, like, go in and just, like, destroy BYU, maybe,
Maybe,
but I
maybe.
think it's a really I mean, that's a far stretch. I don't think they get in really even
Yeah,
close, to be
yeah, I
honest.
agree with you.
Um, they're arguably still high at 14. I mean,
You can make that argument. You can make that argument that they're too high. You can. They looked not great. And again, I know it was the last second loss, but still, Arizona State is not an elite program. Texas Tech was supposed to be, and they aren't. So,
right.
um, yeah, I just, I, I don't. There's nothing else to say, man.
Yeah.
I feel, I feel they're just not gonna, they're not going to level up, which is, you know, I guess sucky for that fan base, especially because they haven't really had anything to root for since Mahomes left. But yeah, I think again without Baron
Yeah.
Morton, they're just not. They're just without Baron Morton, they're just not the team they are. He should hopefully be. I believe his X-rays on his ankle came back negative, so I'm pretty sure it was a day-to-day thing. So he should be back for the BYU game. So I would imagine they will win, but I agree with you. Unless they kill BYU, they shouldn't make the playoff.
Yeah.
They just
100%.
shouldn't. They just shouldn't.
And I mean, as
Um,
far as that goes, their schedule both these teams' schedules is pretty easy besides Texas Tech's BYU,
yeah,
but, I mean, it's just like, the Big 12 isn't that great.
exactly. Exactly. The Big 12, I mean, they're only going to get they're probably only going to get the conference winner in there.
Yeah.
Which, we can have a whole other conversation about that, um, but I think that's deserved, and we'll see if Arizona State can use the momentum. Their schedule is real bad. Iowa State is in a free fall right now. They aren't getting a lot of attention for it, considering James Franklin is alive and well. But that loss that Iowa State had a couple weeks ago to Cincinnati was really really tough, and then the loss against Colorado was really bad too. Uh, 2 weeks ago, so they're in the middle of a free fall right now. Again, they're not getting a lot of press for it. But that Arizona State should win that game. Um, and then the rest of their schedule is super easy. So maybe they can. have a, go, undefeated for the rest of the year, but the it's a mountain to climb. That loss to Mississippi State early in the year is really going to hurt them. Um, so we'll see what happens with them. They're a good
Yeah,
underdog story. You like to root for the underdog. You like to root for the feel good team, and I think Arizona State's the feel good team.
yeah, for sure. Especially since last year.
Yeah, definitely. But
Yeah.
they don't have that Scattaboo energy, which I think hurts them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He
I
added
agree.
so much. He gave that team so much life, and you can tell that they don't have that spark.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, it is what it is. Okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, so guys, that's it for the NCAA talk. We're now going to talk about the one NFL game that was really worth our time, and that is the Steelers visiting Cincinnati. Eric, what was going on there?
Yeah, so Steelers head to Cincinnati and lose 31-33 in a great game. Instant classic. They're calling it the Icy Hot Bowl.
That's the
Um,
name of it.
that's what people are saying. The Icy Hot Bowl.
Okay, sure, whatever.
um,
Fine,
so
I'll take that.
Joe Flacco, his first game with the Bengals after getting traded from the Browns, plays really good. 31-47. That's not great, but 342 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, he was just making this Steelers defense that should be one of the top defenses in the league with how much they're paying him, with the stars on their secondary. Jalen Ramsey's overrated. We've said it before.
Yeah,
But, you know, from that aside, I mean, they still have TJ Watt.
yeah,
Um and Aaron, I mean, both these teams look good. The pick that Aaron Rodgers threw wasn't great.
no,
Um and so, that's not that's not good, but other than that, it just wasn't. It was a good game. Good AFC North game and one that the Steelers were heavily favored in, and they lose, and it's just classic AFC North.
yeah, no. Joe Flacco is 2 months, or excuse me, 3 months, I believe, away from turning 41. You don't lose. You shouldn't be losing to almost 41-year-old Joe Flacco. Like, I'm sorry, he is a shell of what he once was, and he wasn't even that great to start. Um, I just, as I said at the beginning, dude, the most obvious trap game ever. Like the trade was so preposterous, and Cincinnati was so desperate for someone because Jake Browning wasn't doing it right. So they go for Flacco. The Browns do it because they're Cleveland and they don't care about trading in division. That's how brain dead they are. And the Bengals they come out and Flacco has a really good game, 342 passing yards for 40-year-old Joe Flacco and 3 TDs, no picks. I
Yeah,
mean, that is just look at what Jamar Chase and T Higgins do for you. Like, look at what
right,
great receivers do for you. I mean, I can't think of a more perfect example
for
than Joe
sure. Yeah,
Flacco. Yeah. So
yeah,
the Bengals just looked like a renewed team. A new confidence, which is crazy for Joe Flacco, but whatever. As for the Steelers, yeah, I mean, the defense has looked really, really sketchy all year. I mean, you give up 30 to the Jets, you give up 30 to the Seahawks. I mean, the defense has been sketchy all year, except for Cleveland, ironically. And they just really are not. The defense is so overrated. I agree with you, dude. Jalen Ramsey was just a name. We said this. He's a name.
yeah,
He's a hired mercenary. He's not the player he
yeah,
was, and he got destroyed. Rodgers played pretty well, but again, as a 40-year-old, he can only do so much, and he
right.
couldn't overcome the defense. Jalen Warren had a pretty good game, but couldn't get in the end zone. I mean, it was classic Steelers football. They tease you, they make you think that they're going to take the next step, and then they lose a game that is so preposterous that you have to question whether the first half of the season was legitimate. Or I guess the first third in this instance. Whether the first third of the season was legit, whether you actually were supposed to believe in it. I mean, it's just this team is so frustrating, and it's why I focus on college football mostly on weekends, dude. Because A, I like talking about it more with you, and B, the NFL product is really not great right now. And I think this Steelers team is honestly a really good example of that. And I'm not even saying that out of bias. I feel it's accurate. I feel this team is a constant underachiever. They're going to go 9-8 again, and they're going to lose in the playoffs again. Like, you guys know how this ends. I don't know why you're watching a podcast or I guess listening to a podcast, right, with two 20-somethings just blabbering on, and you're expecting us to tell you anything that you don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. We're not telling the viewer anything they don't know, Eric. We're not telling them anything they don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I
I just
mean,
went on a rant. Whatever.
yeah, but back to Jamar Chase,
Yeah.
great game. 16 receptions at the highest of a wide receiver all year. I mean, they couldn't cover him, man. And you have to game plan for Jamar Chase. They were literally running they ran the same play 3 times in a row. That little out route to the sidelines. They just kept running it. And Jalen Ramsey couldn't stop him. Jalen Ramsey, he couldn't cover probably an 8-year-old child out there on Thursday. He looked terrible.
Dude, Chase is so good.
Yes, easily the best wide receiver in the NFL.
He's so good. I mean, it's truly a joy to watch him play. It really is. And I say that as someone who hates the Bengals, but he's so good.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this defense has issues. Penalty discipline issues is one of them too. I mean, Joey Porter Jr., he's very handsy. He never stops holding, and he gets away with it sometimes, but he's holding on every play. It's either PI or he's dragging someone down. It's just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And Pat Freiermuth, he finally breaks free, has a good game, and he's the leading receiver on the team for Thursday. 5 receptions, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. DK Metcalf, he didn't play bad, but like, where is he? I'd like to see more. Roman Wilson, he hasn't done anything all year.
No, this
It's
season.
it's just a weird team, you know?
I'm not buying in. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I refuse. I feel it's a waste of my time, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think it would be a waste of your time to buy in? I feel it is, man. I'm not buying
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But did almost win, but I mean that should have been a game they won by 14 points. It should and
score win.
Yeah, and with the defense they put together, they shouldn't be letting up 33 to 41-year-old Joe Flacco.
Yep. He should.
Aaron Rodgers, he's looked good this year though. He was with the Jets last year. He looked, and even before that, I mean, he didn't look too great at all.
Yeah.
So it's refreshing for him for sure. You can tell he's happy here. It's where he wants to be.
Yeah.
So that's good for him, I guess. And obviously Joe Flacco, good thing he got out of Cleveland. Happy for him as well because I like Joe Flacco.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, the Icy Hot Bowl, it was a good game.
Sure. But yeah, dude, the Steelers' upcoming schedule: Packers, Colts, Chargers. Oof. Now, look, 2 of those games are at home, but still, that is a tough schedule. I'm curious to see that you need to win 2 of those 3 games. You must. Must. This loss is the kind of game where at the end of the year, if you're a game behind, you're going to be kicking yourself that you lost. I think the Steelers need to win 2 of these 3. And I don't know who they beat. I feel like Sunday Night Football at home is a good environment for them. So I feel like they beat the Packers. That's my gut. As for the Colts, I think that's the trap game, man. I think I think Daniel Jones is having a really solid year, and that's a trap game.
I don't even think it's honestly a trap game. I feel like the Colts are going to be favored in this one. They've looked really good. They honestly should be undefeated.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Daniel Jones has been playing lights out. He's looked great. So
yeah, and then obviously Herbert in LA. But I'm not at all worried about that because no one in LA cares about the Chargers. That stadium is going to be predominantly Steelers fans.
Oh yeah, every time.
I mean, Baltimore goes there. Baltimore doesn't even travel well, and they basically sell out SoFi. So Steelers fans are going to be there in waves. The Chargers, I feel confident about that game. The Colts, I think, is the trap game for them. So we'll see what happens. But the Steelers, that's a bad loss, man. You can't lose that game. You just can't.
No,
And then
especially
as
to
for yeah, yeah, to Joe Flacco at this point in his career in 2025.
yeah,
As for the Bengals, I mean, not much to say here. They're dead in the water without Joe Burrow, and they're going to continue to be dead in the water without Joe Burrow. They might win a game here and there. Flacco might play really well, but overall, this team is done, and no one should be surprised. You know, like
yeah.
they are who we thought they were without Burrow. And it is sad because I think Burrow, if he didn't get all these injuries, is a Hall of Famer. But at this point, he never will be, which is, I mean, again, a whole other conversation. But yeah, the Bengals without him just aren't legit.
Yep.
Legit. Okay, that's all I have on that game. What about you?
Yeah, that's all I had.
Okay, guys, so that is it for episode 8 of Catching the Facts. Those are all the games and news coverage that we wanted to cover this week. Thank you so much for listening. In terms of games upcoming, this next week, we mentioned it earlier, Ole Miss, Oklahoma should be a pretty good game. We have Missouri, Vanderbilt. Now, Eli Drinkowitz, I've heard his name maybe peppered around for the Penn State job. So maybe, Missouri Vanderbilt's going to be a big game that I pay attention to. By the way, did you see what Nebraska did this past weekend, Eric?
I did, yes.
I think Matt Rule just coached himself out of a job offer for Penn State.
Yeah, dude.
6 points against Minnesota. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I saw that and I turned to a family member and I was like, well, there goes his job offer. And then poof,
Yeah.
goodbye. So, I don't think Matt Rule is going to get that job anymore. So Eli Drinkowitz, I'm going to be paying attention because his record against ranked teams is pretty sketchy at Missouri. So I'll be curious to see how he handles Pavia's legs. That'll be an interesting game to watch. Who does Ohio State play next week? Do they play anyone of substance?
They're on a bye, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay, because next week Penn State's on a bye as well before they play Ohio State in 2 weeks. So college doesn't have too many games. I know LSU A&M is also happening, but A&M's going to destroy them, so that's not going to be a game. So maybe next week we're going to have some more NFL.
Yeah, and
Maybe we'll have some
exciting.
more NFL. Looking at the schedule, I mean, good God, oh my God. Listen, I take it back. Jeez.
We might not have a show next week.
I said that before looking at the schedule, and now it's like my eyes are burning. Dolphins, Falcons, Jets, Bengals, Browns, Patriots, Giants, Eagles. Oh my God, this schedule is so bad. Bucks, Saints, Niners, Texans. Who would watch this? Oh my God. I mean, I guess we have to because we do this show. But Jesus. Oh man. Other than the Packers, Steelers, and Commanders, Chiefs, next week's games are trash. They're so bad. I mean, Vikings, Chargers could be relatively competitive, I guess. But my God. Okay, guys. Well, I hope some upsets happen so that we have some games to talk about because this schedule is looking not great. Not great, but we'll have some stuff. I really like doing the news roundup. What do you think, Eric?
I like that too. Yeah,
I really like doing the quick news roundup at the beginning of the show. I think we're going to make that a staple. We really enjoy doing that. So, I'm sure there'll be some news to discuss, but we'll find some stuff to talk about to entertain you lot. We take it seriously to, the prospect of entertaining you, and we're going to do everything we can to make that happen. So we will find the games and we will talk about them, won't we?
for sure. Yep, always do.
Yeah, we always do. So yeah, guys, thank you again so much for listening to episode 8 of the Catching the Facts podcast here on the Catching the Facts official podcast network. We are on both YouTube and Spotify. Please follow us on both platforms. We post every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, high noon. So yeah, please continue to support. Thank you so much for letting us be a weekly part of your college football discussion means the world to both Eric and myself. And we have a blast making this show, guys. So thank you for letting us continue to do it. It's been a hell of a time so far, and we still have so much football to go. So, do you have anything else to say, Eric?
No, I do not.
Okay. Well, in that case, again, guys, thank you so much. We will see you next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to cover next week's games. Until then, I'm your host, Dan Sisk,
Remember Schroeder?
and we'll see you then.